On today's edition of the WealthKeel Freestyle, we cover what topics you should address when getting married. So it's a very exciting time. You're either about to get married or maybe you recently got married. We're going to walk through everything from cash flow topics to insurance topics, and that is all coming up next on this WealthKeel Freestyle, so stay tuned. First topic is just conquering your cash flow. So we're going to include our workflows that we've been including some of these WealthKeel freestyles just to show you all the different moving parts and all the things you can consider or you should consider when you're about to get married or recently getting married. But first up is just cash flow. We always come back from, we think the easiest way to simplify cash flow from when you're going from two individuals to one household from a financial planning perspective, from a cash flow perspective, is each individual still has their own individual account. This has been a good practice, and this is even shown on the psychological side of things. It's still important to still maintain your own individual accounts, but then creating that joint account that you guys now make your hub, the financial hub. You know, that's where the mortgage comes from, that's where the rent comes from, that's from, you know, utilities, bills, the joint credit card, whatever the example would be. That's a huge part, I think, just going from two, or excuse me, no, that's right, going from two to one. And the other thing is, if you're still pre-marriage phase and you're not married yet, for some reason, financial topics are still so taboo. But just sitting down with your partner and talking through, you know, hey, this is the background I came from in money. This is how I view money. This is, you know, the background I came from. This is how I view money. And it's not saying you have to be exactly on the same page, but at least knowing where each individual comes from is a huge part of, again, going from two into one. So really the first goal here is just understanding cash flow, all the moving parts that come from, again, two to one, but also just understanding a little bit of the history and the background. You know, how do you look at debt? How does your spouse look at debt? How do you look at investing? Are you risk averse? There's a lot of moving parts. And again, I know there's a lot of exciting things going on right now, but still definitely something to keep in mind is just talking through these big topics. Again, hopefully pre-marriage, but if you also are recently married, still a good time to walk through them. It's always a good time to talk finances. Next up is just talking about your debt. Again, hopefully this conversation is happening before you get married, but understanding the debt. You know, are you coming to this marriage with $300,000 of student loans? Is there, you know, credit card debts? Is there bad, you know, a bad credit report that's going to show up that's going to affect both of you? Just being upright and honest up front and just talking through things and understanding all the moving parts is huge. But having a true debt conversation, you know, walking through that balance sheet is vital. I used to make the joke that I said on the dating websites, you should have to show your credit score. Still think that's a good idea, but I just don't see it that often. But that helps give at least somewhat of a good picture of what's going on. So take a few minutes, talk through debt with your soon-to-be spouse or maybe recently, you know, married spouse there. So talk about your debt. Don't allow these topics to be taboo. Next up is just organizing your assets. So I covered this early on, right at the intro there on having those, having your individual checking accounts, but then making that family hub. I think you can take that same role in with credit cards too. It's okay to have your own individual credit cards, but maybe have some type of a joint credit card that you're using for, you know, the groceries and utilities and things like that, and using it responsibly. So organizing your assets. For the most part, you know, we always get the question, you know, can we combine IRAs and 401ks? Those are always on their separate islands. They're called IRAs because they're labeled individual retirement account. So those won't be combined. Understanding where they are is always important. Again, understanding that entire balance sheet for you and your spouse is going to be an important part. But for the most part, getting organized usually comes back to bank accounts, maybe some joint investment accounts of something of that nature going forward, but just keep that in mind from getting your assets organized. Next up is just planning for insurance. you just got married, someone else is probably now relying on your income, or it's vital to the household. Talking through life insurance, talking through disability insurance, marriage for you guys sharing a car now. Same with homeowners insurance. A lot of things have changed, so now would be a really good time to do an inventory check on your current insurance policies. Do you need to update anything? Do you need to add anybody to anything? Again, more importantly, don't also forget about life insurance and disability insurance, because it's not just you anymore. You're a team now, so keep that in mind for the insurance topics. Last but not least, again, please reference the workflow that will attach to this. It's really neat. It'll walk you through a whole bunch of different steps and a lot of different checklists, but I'm going to end with taxes. Again, things just changed drastically for you. Hopefully it improved your situation from a tax perspective, because now you're married, most likely filing jointly. There are some unique situations where you do still get to married filing separately. But now's a good time. If you haven't worked with an accountant before, maybe now's a good time, maybe at least to go through this year of transition, make sure everything makes sense. But your taxes are going to change. Make sure you understand that. Make sure you understand the benefits of married filing jointly. Maybe if you're going for student loans and different forgiveness programs, you may also want to look at the difference between married filing separately and married filing jointly, and doing some math there, or having your accountant or your financial planner walk through that with you. So again, those are the main topics. There's a lot of moving parts to going from two individuals into one from a financial perspective, insurance perspective. So we wanted to walk through a few of these main topics for you to keep in mind. All right, and there you have it for this WealthKeel Freestyle of what issues you should consider when getting married from a financial perspective. So as always, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next video.